If you look at the third part of your book, as much as stimulus is important, as much as Keynes' views of uncertainty are important, for the United States in the next decade, re-examination of a consumption-based society, determining what really matters. The moral critique of Keynes about what is the purpose of an economy and all these things may become very important for this so-called declining nation.
Yes.
I don't know that the U.S. is in decline, but
no, I think it is. I think it's what happen. What do you do? What do you do when you're in an era of abundance? Now, I'm using that word somewhat in inverted commas because I realise that you can't actually say how much welfare society has until you know something about the distribution of its income. Right. But using the word loosely. What happens to the economic motives of a society of abundance? Because the whole of economics is based on the notion of scarcity, and all its axioms, optimizing individuals and stable preferences and all these things are actually based, especially the first one, on scarcity, the scarcity axiom.
Theories of international trade depend fundamentally on that for their conclusions.
So what happens when scarcity is no longer the most important driver of human behavior or economic behavior? And this was the subject of a fascinating little essay Keynes wrote, which I think has inspired me. It's inspired me quite a bit, called Economic Possibilities for Our Grandchildren. And I'm actually writing a book together with my son at the moment, who's a philosopher, called How Much is Enough? Economics and the Good Life, which takes up the question Keynes raised, what is wealth for? Looks at his predictions, which were that in 100 years, the developed part of the world would have solved the economic problem. It would have a standard of life which was 4 to 8 times as great as it was when he wrote that thing in 1930 because of increases in productivity and capital growth and so on. And then people wouldn't have to work, or they'd have to work very, very much less. And therefore they'd take out increasing amount of their productivity gains in leisure. Well, that has happened to some extent, but not nearly as much as Keynes thought it would. And in fact, in the United States, after a long, prolonged period of a fall in the fall in hours work, from about 1980s, they started going up again. They fell to just over 2,000. And then they've gone up again. And that is a puzzle. Why have people gone on working more than they need to for the abundance which apparently they have? And why do societies differ in this? Because the Dutch only work 5/8 of the time the Americans work. And their standard of living isn't very much lower, or hardly, very, very, very little lower. But they've taken more out in leisure. Americans want more consumption. Why is that?